Hello everyone. So without further ado, let's go to the Gauteng High Court in the Senzo murder trial, where today things were quite explosive but low-key, if you know what I mean. So when Biggie took the stand this morning, she was upbeat, ready to talk, and healthy. And I was like, okay, girl, did you do the homework? Yes, she did do the homework that Advocate Mshololo gave to her, and she sang like a canary. I was like, yes, Pinky. I was like, I'm loving Pinky right now because she's giving all the juices that we need in order to come to a conclusion about what really happened on the 26th of October 2014. And of course, Pinky just kind of like came and just closed the case. She closed the case by making confirmations about everything that Advocate Mshololo had asked her. Now, if you were looking at Advocate Mshololo's strategy, her strategy was simple. We are going to lay charges against the chefs as well as the ingredients pickers and those that cooked this broth that has brought us here today. And also to ensure and secure the exoneration of accused number one all the way to accused number five. And I was like, you go, Mshololo. I always knew that you had something up your sleeve. And Pinky, all she had to do was do some confirmations. Now, the one confirmation that really got me very interested was when Advocate Mshololo asked Pinky if the Section 205s of Tumelo Madlala, what's his name, Thokoza Sitwala, Makumalo, Zandile Kumalo, as well as Mandisa Meiwa, if they were applied to be extracted from Vodacom, and she said no. I was like, whoa, why? Why were they not? Okay, I get Mandisa, I will put Mandisa aside, but it's clear that the state wanted either to smear as mastermind, either Mandisa as the person that is responsible for having Senzomea killed because she had a motive. He was feathering around. And then you go to the girlfriend, the mother of the child, who may not want the what do you call this, government or the parliament, meaning Mandisa Meiwa, to be like out of the picture or whatever the case might be. And maybe they wanted to elaborate that the reason why she was the mastermind in killing Senzomea so that both her and Mandisa does not get Senzo or whatever the case might be. So I was like, tell me more, tell me more. And so I'm going to be reading from my notes as well, just to remember some few other things. The other thing that got me was about Colonel Hose. Colonel Hose lied on the stand. He perjured himself. And definitely a case of perjury needs to be opened against him because he knew. And we did see this when he was stuttering and he was losing his temper when Mr. Ngomezulu was asking him some hard questions. And you could tell that he was beating himself against a brick wall, that you could even tell that all that I'm doing here on this stand, I am lying. And I don't know how to get myself out of this, which takes me to Colonel Stain. I think Colonel Stain, after taking the stand, he felt guilty, he felt bad, he developed a conscience, and I think as we're gonna speak later about him in this video, I will tell you why I think he fell ill. But I'm not saying definitely that's why, but I'm just rubbing my two IQs here. And I'm thinking, if I were Colonel Stain, I think I'll be in a very same position as he in right now. And what threw me off was hearing that Brigadier Kininda asked for or subpoenaed for 205s of 2018 to about 2020, 2021. And I'm like, wait, Sensomia was killed 4 years before this subpoena. What exactly was he getting at? Oh, only to find out it was of a different case that happened in Pomalanga, taxi violence or something. Then I was like, wait a minute. So that it makes sense why today we are having a 9mm that is currently, as we speak today, the work has started with the private ballistic expert, as per the defense had applied to court and was granted. And the gun with the wheel, which we understand is a 38 special revolver or whatever the case might be. And now, that gun that has accused number 3 in prison for 15 years today is being brought into the Senzo Mayor murder trial. Just like these 205s of 2018 to 2021. For what? Senzo Mayor was killed in 2014. Why doesn't he go for accused number 5, 205 from 2014? Why 2018 to 2025? I mean, 2024. Sorry, guys. 2021, 2020, 2021. My mind. My mind is going wild right now. I'm like, no, clearly this gun itself is questionable. And I've been asking this question about this gun. Isn't this gun will be double jeopardy if it's brought in this matter? I'm just asking. But then again, we already heard from the eyewitnesses that it was a gun with a wheel, not a 9mm. So we'll see how it all ends. But I think at this point, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. Vodacom has cleared the air as to what happened on the 26th of October 2014. And so there was some breaking news in court when Advocate Mshololo asked Pinky, so my homework regarding the PDF, who sent it, when, and the time. And of course, Pinky read it out. She said, the PDF format was sent to Advocate Baloyi on the 18th of May 2024. And on the 28th of May 2024, it was also sent to Advocate Sibanda. And I'm like, of course. I mean, right. We suspected this. We suspected that if it's not Baloyi, it's going to be Gininda, but it is the state, because she did say she did send it to the MPA, but she was not sure to whom, as well as the dates. All right. So that was the little breaking news that happened in court, even though we were like, okay, we're not surprised. At least now we know who are the chefs in this matter. But of course, the chef is not just Advocate Baloyi as well as Advocate Sibanda. Other cooks were involved to make this broth that we are currently here for, where they are accusing 5 innocent people in the killing of Senzo Meyiwa. Why convert the PDF into an Excel? And the other thing that was also, I did feel Pinky's back pushed against the wall by Advocate Mshololo. When Advocate Mshololo wanted to get the original information in the PDF, so Pinky then looked to the judge and said she does feel pressured to almost like break Vodacom laws or something like that, because things that are in her computer are sensitive. And of course, Advocate Mshololo did apologize out of her own ignorance, because you know what? When I want something from somebody's computer, I mean, it's not going to be like, oh no, there are things that you must not see, and things like that. So she understood. And then with Sibanda annoying the living daylight out of everybody, now defending Pinky. And I'm like, what? Well, sit down, sir. Sit down. Advocate Mshololo already understood the sensitivity, and she admitted that on her behalf, she may have been ignorant of the fact that what Pinky holds in her bag or laptop bag is sensitive information. She cannot just willy-nilly open her laptop and say, well, yeah, it is what you are looking for. However, whatever Ms. Mshololo was looking for is information that is deep down in the 4,549 pages of the data, the PDF data. So then Advocate Mshololo was like, okay, can you go through it then overnight so that you can come back tomorrow and tell it to us the information that I need, which I don't think is going to happen considering what transpired at the end of the day in court. However, Mr. Mshololo, I think you should definitely follow up on this, because that information you are seeking for, if you do not follow up, it's going to be used against you during arguments, like they did with a trial within a trial. There are some few things that they used against you guys and said, you did not fight for it, you did not ask for it, you did not follow up on it. And as a result, we got Judge Rata making that decision to accept the confessions. So be once bitten, twice shy in this matter. Follow up on this so that at arguments, you are not going to be held accountable, or at least be ignored because you did not follow up on that particular question, because I think it's very important what she had asked for. It was also interesting to see Rata trying to interject, to be seen to be doing something that he was busy defending the state. He was busy defending the what do you call this, the witness as well. But when in fact Rata has signed off and resigned from this case regarding the state of everything that they presented to him, that is my opinion. The man is no longer on not is no longer on the state side, but I would say he is definitely feeling fooled by the state and also embarrassed in public for the way they had made him act in an open court when it came to this matter. Again, my opinion. So Advocate Mshololo then she wrapped up her cross-examination when it came to Pinky, but again, like I said, she did give Pinky homework, which I think Advocate Mshololo should follow up on that, maybe to add on her arguments, because Pinky is no longer on the stand unless she is recalled, so that Advocate Mshololo does cross-examine her for the record with what she had asked out of her. Then Advocate Sibanda took to the floor to, I don't know what he was doing there. He was re-examining, and in his re-examination, he first poked at Advocate Mshololo. I don't know why he thinks Advocate Mshololo like we. But anyways, it was also very nice to see Miss Mshololo blue-ticking Sibanda every time he stood up. I think she did it twice. I mean, he stood up, he objected. Mr. Mshololo just gave him that look, and she continued doing what she needed to do with her job. I thought he's got to have felt embarrassed. That was painful what Mshololo did to Sibanda. So when Sibanda took to the floor, he basically said one of the things that Advocate Mshololo did not do was about the maps and the plotting of the maps regarding the Basuto hostel as well as the towers that are located there. And in my mind, I mean, right, Mr. Mshololo did not, that's true. And I understand why Miss Mshololo did not do that, because she already got the answers that she wanted. All she wanted was the plotting of the day of the 26th of October 2014, and Vodacom confirmed that accused number 5 was nowhere near Fosloras, nor near the crime scene on the 26th of October 2014 by 6 p.m. And we already heard from Mr. Mnisi that around that time, accused number 3, together with a gang of guys that they were hanging out with on that particular day, left Fosloras and Katlehong, and by 5:30 they were already in Johannesburg at George Koch hostel. And that is where they met accused number 5, who was returning from work. So all that information that Sibanda was busy yapping about, irrelevant. I don't know what he was trying to salvage or what miracle he was looking for that Pinky was going to reveal and say, oh yes, on this particular day, I just found out that, or I just discovered, or I just realized that around 7:15 to about 9:30, accused number 5 was in around the vicinity of Basuto Hostel and also around the vicinity of Kutwanong Street in Fosloras. It didn't happen. By 6, everybody, that at least accused number 3 and accused number 5 and accused number 4 were already in Johannesburg around 6 p.m., maybe 6:30 p.m. And an hour and a half later or 2 hours later, Senzo Mewa is killed by somebody. And I still believe is someone that was with Senzo Mewa on the 26th of October 2014 in that Kumalo house. That is what we need to be inquiring about right now. Not these people that stand accused of killing Senzo Mewa. They are innocent of this case. So it was clear that Sibanda was grasping at straws. He was like a kick of a dying horse. I think that horse died a long time ago. That's my thought. Then Sibanda wrapped up his re-examination of Pinky and she stood down. Which at the end we heard Mr. Sibanda saying, thank you very much, Pinky. I was like, sir, you should have called her at least by a respectable title. Miss or ma'am, or by her surname. Miss, the surname I can't pronounce, unfortunately. And Mr. Rata then wanted to know what other witnesses were lined up. Then Baloyi stood up and I'm like, oh, you are here? And suddenly I felt this heaviness on my shoulders, and my back was so. I'm like, whoa, I remember this feeling. I had this feeling when Gininda took the stand for the first time. I'm like, Baloyi, what is this that you are doing to me? Because it's not feeling good. Dark cloud was just filled in that courtroom when Advocate Baloyi took the stand. And then he murmured and muffled about something regarding correctional services officer because he had discovered something. And I'm like, yeah, of course he would discover something. We were, a whole month without seeing you in court. Basically, the court recess. Clearly, you would have cooked some few things and brought to the court because the surprises stuff, you love it. That's the stuff that we've been seeing throughout this trial. So I was not surprised to hear that a correctional service somebody is going to come and testify, or one of the witnesses. And I'm like, okay. That is when he also informed the court that he intends to make an application to recall Colonel Stain on the stand because he wants to clear some few things. In my head, I'm like, uh-oh, Colonel Stain, you are going to be the fall guy. You are going to be the scapegoat. You are the guy that the state is going to throw under the bus because Mr. Baloyi is going to ask him, why did he mislead the court? And Mr. Baloyi himself will be the one that makes an application to Judge Rada to charge him with perjury. You will ask me until you write my tongue. That's a loose translation. That's what I'm thinking. The state has already found its fallout guy, so that Advocate Baloyi as well as Advocate Sibanda are exonerated as people that were misled. Of course, getting Stain to be the fall guy, that means he pulls the entire SAPS that took the stand thus far in this matter, throwing everybody under the bus and everybody going to jail. And possibly who's going to be the prosecutor is going to be quite interesting. Who's going to prosecute Stain and all of them? That's just my thought. And then if you ask me about Stain, this is the part where I said I'm going to talk about later. If you ask me about Stain being in hospital, I think he is in hospital for real, and I will tell you why. I think when Pinky started unraveling or revealing the truth about the PDF and the Excel, and also going even as far as saying that this was tampering. Of course, Judge Rada doesn't like the tampering, but we know that was tampering and it is against the law. This is fraud. This is corruption. This is defeating the ends of justice and also perjury. And so he thought, oh my goodness, perjury is 5 years in prison. Fraud is 15 years in prison. Corruption is 15 years in prison. And defeating the ends of justice is about 5 years in prison. I will fall ill too. I will fall ill too. You're going to find me in a hospital with breathing by the machines and the pipes and the oxygen and everything to try and can this go away? His worst nightmare came to reality, guys. The reason why I believe or suspect he resigned is because of this very moment that played out in court this past week. So yeah, I think he did fall ill. Now the question is, what kind of illness is it? Because I know I'm going to be hit by a heart. My heart will just come and arrest me. That's for sure. If it's not the heart, maybe it's his conscience. Because sometimes when you are a person, probably he's a good person. He's got integrity, he's got morals and values, and then he was pushed and forced to do what he had done around the 29th of July 2023 when he took the stand and lied through his teeth. So I think maybe that's the reason why he is in hospital. But now my biggest fear is that on Monday, when the court resumes and Colonel Stain is not there, he did not make it. On what circumstances? That is my fear right now. So with all the submissions and applications that were intended to be made by Mr. Baloyi, Mr. Mngomezulu stood up and said, hi, I would also like to make an application regarding the 205s of everybody that was in the house on the 26th of October 2014. I'm talking about the Kumalo house where Senzo Mayo was killed. Of course, to me, I was like, I see you, Mr. Mngomezulu, I see you. You are zooming in on one particular phone number and one particular phone call that was made to the Senzo Mayo family member where Tumelo Madlala made a call, allegedly, to say, hey, sekwenzeke iphutha. That's how a mistake has happened. That call, that's what he's looking for. And that call also will reveal the exact time, or at least the time that Senzo Mewa had passed on. Is it 7:30? I don't think so. I still think this happened around 4:30 to 5 o'clock. That is just my rubbing of my two IQs. I think by the time they took him to hospital, he was long cold. Long cold. And the interesting part also why Mr. Mngomezulu did not ask for that of Kelly Kumalo, because he already has Kelly Kumalos in his possession. And he knows what it says. And I'm like, ooh, yeah, let's go get these 205s. We got to see what's happening there. Especially the call that was made by Tumelo Madlala. Also the call that was made by Kelly Kumalo. As well as what her name is, Tapseng's phone, where apparently Kelly Kumalo used it because she did not have airtime at the hospital. Who did she call? And what was the conversation? It's going to be interesting. This is when Mr. Baloyi took the floor back and asked for 1 week postponement of the trial so that Mr. Steyn can recuperate once he gets off hospital. And I'm like, oh, please. Do come on Monday, Mr. Steyn. There's a lot that needs to be talked about, but I think you are a victim of being thrown under the bus by the state, and you will drag all of your colleagues to Timbuktu when it comes to the accountability and responsibility that you must take for smearing a heinous crime against 5 innocent people in this matter. So, of course, Judge Rata did grant the 1 week postponement, and also we don't know what other witnesses are going to come, because Mr. Baloyi said the correctional service guy is going to depend on Steyn's testimony if he's going to be a witness. And I'm thinking, but listen, this guy said he has 144 witnesses. How many have we gone through that far? I don't think we even hit 100. So if let's say it's 100, what about the other 44 so that we can continue this week with them? Or they realize, I'm talking about the states, they realize that if they called any of those other remaining witnesses, it's going to be frivolous, because it is going to be frivolous. Why? Because the Vodacom records have cleared the air. None of the 5 people that stand accused of killing Senzo Mayo were anywhere near Foslorasa on the 26th of October 2014. They were all in Johannesburg. And I think Mr. Ntanzi was already at home, as he said he was going to pay Lobola. And as for Musa Sibiya, he was wherever he was, and he was never or near Foslorasa or Katlehong or anywhere near that area. The Kumalo house even. So where does this leave us? It leaves us with the people that were with Senzo Mayo on the 26th of October 2014. That's where it leaves us. So I saw some people saying that, no, you need to call Zungu, you need to call Mapiri, you need to call... I'm like, there's no need anymore to call any of them. The answer has already been answered by the Vodacom records. The plotting of where the accused were on the 26th of October 2014, it's clear. So there's no need. Those records are saying Zungu lied. So when you call him, what are you going to ask him? What are you going to tell him on the stand? All that you have to do now is open a case of perjury, defeating the ends of justice, and etc. and so on. And then the 5 men that stand accused of killing Senzo Mayo, suing him for defamation of character. And also for Ntanzi for loss of income, for obviously damaging of his reputation, which is the defamation of character, Same goes with accused number 1, who now is serving a prison term of 5 years for possession because of this case. He needs to come after Zungu and sue him for loss of income and all of that other stuff that is going to be part of his application in the civil court. So there's no need for any of the other witnesses to be called, in my opinion, because we now understand what took place on the 26th of October 2014. Anyways, guys, please do not leave this video without smashing the like button. As you already know that the like button, guys, it helps the channel to grow. Also, leave a comment down below. I'm very interested to hear from you. What were your thoughts about what transpired in court today? Other than that, let's see each other in my next video. Goodbye.